Okay, let's get started.
Hi everyone, I'm Becky Hall and I'm a therapeutic worker from Phoenix Futures. Today we're going to be talking about addiction and recovery, and I want to just apologise in advance because I'm just off an overnight and I'm not very technical at the best of times, so just bear with me, and I hope that I can sort of give you some information on the work that I do and answer any questions that you might have. So I'm just going to kind of start off giving you a bit of information on Phoenix Futures, the service, and how we support women into recovery. So Phoenix Futures, I work in the Scottish Residential Service, but we do have other services such as housing, we're in prisons, we're out in the community. But today I'll mostly be talking about the residential service. Basically, Phoenix Futures is a therapeutic community. So it's a behaviour change programme, and it's all peer-led as well. So you'll hear me talking about the community all working together, supporting one another. It's a true sense of community within Phoenix Futures, and we use the biopsychosocial model to sort of elicit behaviour change and build on people's confidence and their self-esteem in order to help them really maintain their recovery in the future once they leave us. So basically, you would start off by making a referral, and referrals can be self-referrals, they can be through organisations, addiction organisations, or your council. And once the referral's made, Phoenix would contact you to carry out an assessment. And right there at the assessment stage, we're already thinking about sort of gender issues, and we will give people the option, you know, whether they would prefer to be assessed by a male or a female staff member, and whether they would like, you know, a gender specific key worker in the future when they come into the service. So we're already sort of taking steps at that assessment stage. Once you're assessed and you're being admitted to the service, as soon as you come in, we know that it can be really overwhelming. We're a big service. We hold up to 31 residents, and people can be there for either a period of 3 or 6 months. So that's depending on funding really, but yeah, 3 or 6 months is the normal length of the programme. When you first come in, you'll be admitted, you'll get into your room, and we've got a section that's specifically for females as well, just to keep the females safe. No males are allowed to enter that area, so that's a safe place for the women that are in our service. You'll also be paired up with a buddy when you come in, so your buddy will be someone who's a little bit further on in the programme, and they're there to sort of help you ease in, to answer any questions, just to help you with fitting in and getting to know everyone, getting to know what a TC, a therapeutic community, is all about. A lot of people in recovery will have known about maybe the fellowship, so the 12-step programme, but ours is a bit different. So it does take time to settle in and really understand the purpose behind everything that we do. Because people will come in and say, you know, why am I on a department? Why am I having to clean and cook and do this and do that? Because it's peer-led. So everything in that house is ran by the residents. That's the cleaning, the cooking, the coordination, the gardens, health and safety, every single department, it's all run by the residents. So people will come in and say, you know, how is this going to help me in my recovery? But there's purpose behind the madness. And people do, as they settle in and get to know the place, they start to understand, you know, the reasons behind it. Because although we're looking at addiction, when you come into the service, you'll see the GP and you'll be put on a detox, and the detox will be as comfortable as it possibly can be. And you'll actually find that a lot of people say the detox is the easy part, because after that you have to do, you know, the work on yourself. So you'll do your detox, And whilst you're doing that, you'll be in the welcome house. So there's stages of the programme as well. We've got the welcome house stage, part 1, part 2, and then senior. So you work your way through that, and there's measures and markers that you have to achieve in order to be moved on. So your first sort of 4 to 6 weeks will be spent in the welcome house. And in there, the groups are really focused on the therapeutic community model, what the guys are going to work through. Also just really building on self-esteem and confidence, because when well, not even women, just anyone who comes into the service, they're normally desperate. You know, when you come into rehab, you're not able to manage it out there. You're not able to get recovery out there, so you've come to rehab, and normally you're sort of right at rock bottom. Your self-esteem and your confidence is completely gone. So we start off by trying to build that back up, and that's really what the groups will be based on at that point. When you get into the part 1 stage, that's when we really start to work on ourselves, because the problem, as we see it, is not the substance. So it's not the alcohol, it's not the drugs. The problem is within. So you have to make lifestyle changes in order to maintain recovery and to learn some new positive ways of coping and managing life without a substance. So in part 1, you'll start to look at your life story, and every resident that comes in is expected to deliver their life story to the community. So that can be really nerve-wracking, and also it can bring up a lot for people, because when you're going back and you're looking at significant life experiences, you're looking at traumas, bereavements, you know, whatever it may be, when you're going back on it, it can bring an awful lot up for you. So a lot of support is needed at that time when you're preparing for your life story and then after you've delivered it. I should have said that when you first come in, you'll also be allocated a key worker, so a member of staff. And your key worker will see you formally once a week, but obviously we're in the house full time, so they can see us whenever they want, but formally we'd meet once a week, and that's where all the care planning's done. And it's very person-centred, so you know, it's not one programme fits all. In there we'll take a really holistic approach, and we'll look at things like your physical health, your mental health, managing finances, managing a tenancy, any debts you might have, employment, voluntary work. We really do look at everything. It's holistic. It's not just, you know, you're in here to work on your addiction. We really do focus on behaviour change and growth in yourself. So part 1 would be life story. Part 2 is where you really take on a lot more responsibilities within the house. So you would be able to escort your peers, you would be able to escort them to activities, to escort them to important appointments, and you're really trusted within the house at that stage. You'd also be doing things like the shop run, you know, the bank run, all these really important things that happen weekly in the house, that you're responsible for. Part 2s would also be buddying, so they would be buddying the new residents that come into the house, making sure they're okay, making sure they know what times they have to get to their groups, all these different things, getting them up in the morning, you know, because the programme is really full on. It's definitely not easy. You're on that floor from about 7:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. You know, you're on departments all day, you're in groups, you're in meetings, you're expected to attend them all. You know, it's really difficult. It's not easy. And we do tell people that before they come in, so they kind of know what to expect and it's not overwhelming. So yeah, part 2s have definitely got a lot more responsibility. But then when you finish your sort of relapse prevention, So you would do a relapse prevention plan where you're looking at your risks, high risk situations, you're looking at triggers, you're trying to work out new coping mechanisms, new strategies that you could use. Again, that's a big piece of work. So the life story is the big piece of work in part 1. Relapse prevention is the big piece of work in part 2. And again, you would be expected to deliver that in front of all of your peers. So really, really nerve-wracking, but it's just amazing the confidence that you see growing. Even within a couple of weeks, you know, the change that you see in someone, it's just amazing. Senior stage, when you're kind of ready to move on from our programme, you would be going out and about. So you would have commitments set up, and commitments would include, you know, any sort of education, any voluntary work. But we've got so many links with some great organisations, we really, really do. So whatever that person's interested in, we'll try and get commitments set up that are going to keep them motivated, you know, keep them determined, positive, feeling like they have a purpose, all these kinds of things. So the senior stage is really good because the guys are out of the house a lot, they're doing their own thing, they're kind of testing it out, seeing what risks are out there so that they're able to adapt their plan, and, you know, they feel more ready to kind of get back out and integrate into society. So again, that's a great stage where you really see people, you know, coming into their own, getting passionate about things. You can see they're going to have a really, really bright future, you know. So it's amazing. It's an amazing place to work, just to see the growth in people and be alongside them in their recovery journey. Following the senior stage, you would either be going into your own tenancy, or you could be moving on to our re-entry. So re-entry is a different building, but still Phoenix Futures. Re-entry is a supported housing service. So in there, there's still staff, you'll still have a key worker, and we would still be doing like drug tests and breathalyzers and things like that. But you're living on your own, you've got that freedom, that independence, but you've still got the safety net and the support there. A lot of people do move on to re-entry, they choose that option, and it's just another stepping stone before they do move on to their own tenancy. And again, we support them with housing in whatever area, you know, they'd like to move to, because a lot of the time people don't want to return to their own areas. They'll maybe give up their tenancies, or even more of the time people are homeless, you know, they don't have a fixed abode. So we support them with housing as well during the programme. I think sort of focusing on women, we do have specific gender groups. So at least once a week we have a female gender group and a male gender group, and YWCA are one of our partners, and they come in and deliver the empowering pathways, and the women absolutely love it. They just love it. So we're really missing that just now whilst we're in lockdown and we can't have any visitors and no one in the service. So we're trying our best with the gender groups, and we're kind of focusing on things like body image, again building on self-esteem and confidence. We look at like stereotypes, gendered stereotypes. We look at policies that are in place. We also talk about like equality, diversity, all these kinds of things, and also things like domestic abuse, supporting people who've got social work involvement with children and families. These kind of gender specific issues that we work on. But the women, they love to have their separate groups, the women time, and the guys are always jealous and wanting to know what we're up to. So yeah, it's great. As I said, I love my job. I'm really, really passionate about recovery, because I'd lost my dad through a heroin addiction when I was 12. So since then I knew I really want to work in the field of addiction, But now it's even better because I work in the field of recovery. So I'm seeing people completely change their lives, and it is powerful. It's great to see. Other sort of groups that we do, I suppose, you would have your key works once a week with your staff member, the key worker. You would have groups daily, you would have fellowship meetings, you have seminars to do, activities. We've got loads going on. We really do. We always have yoga, meditation, and we've got a little gym, so they go in there often, getting out for walks. Usually we would be out on the bikes, we'd be going swimming, you know, we'd be doing things like that. But right now we're really quite limited on our activities and on our commitments. So we're using a lot of online resources just now. And I think everyone's the same, really. We're all just trying to adapt to this situation currently, and we're all getting a bit technical. So it's great that we have got that option that we can go online and get to meetings and still keep connected, because isolation and addiction just doesn't go well together. We often say that the opposite of addiction is connection. So yeah, it's great to be able to keep connected with everyone, and really just to kind of share my experience, but also promote our service, because there definitely is a need for residentials out there. You know, people can't always do it out there in the community, so there is still a need for residentials, and they just continue to sort of cut funding. So I want to kind of raise awareness of that as well. Phoenix, it's a charity, and on our website you'll see, you know, we've been supporting people into recovery for almost over 50 years, I think, actually over 50 years. So we do say that, you know, we're confident about recovery, and we're really passionate about it. So I'm not really sure if anyone's got any questions they'd like to ask, whether it's women specific or, I don't know, just in general, or if anyone's maybe worried about their own addiction, or a family members, a friends, or anything like that. They could definitely contact me. I'll get maybe Elena to share my details with this webinar. Anyone, I'd be happy to take any emails or calls or anything if people are looking for support or information. But also YWCA are great for linking you in with other services. I know that we do refer a lot of our women to external services as well, whether that's counselling. You know, we do a lot of CBT counselling. We refer people for support with things like eating disorders, self-harm, domestic abuse, you know. So we do have a lot of partnered organisations, and we don't just kind of work on our own. We do need support from everyone else. So I think that today I'm at home, but I would like to maybe do a webinar with a few of the women, maybe get them involved, and they can share, you know, their own experience of being in residential treatment. But as I said, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has. I'm conscious that I'm rambling on a bit here, so I'll maybe just stop there and see if I can answer anything for you.